All right, everybody. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. Hello, I'm Ben. Thank you for being here. Hi, Beth. Happy Sunday. U.S. just scored. It's now knotted up at 1 each. Canada versus U.S. Hello, Johnny. How are you? Don't drive and chant. So this is a little different. Tonight, I put a vote out on the community post area to let everyone pick what they wanted to see tonight, and it was MOC building for the Megaspark City, steampunk like MOC. I'm going to be moving away and toward the camera a lot, so the audio might be a little weird, and I'm not used to looking here for the camera, but we'll just go ahead and get started. So there's been some news in Lego world. They've got a new Lego house gift. That's a Fabuland nod. I know Johnny doesn't like it. I talked to a few people on my lug, and they're kind of like, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. I was not a Fabuland fan, so I have no basis for comparison. I don't like kind of how the brick built figures look. I think it would have made more sense to have like either remolded figures or the whatever original minifigs there were. I think they were larger figs anyway. So, but you know, it's up to them to. They've been making some interesting choices lately. Let me know how the audio and the visual is for everything, and we'll go ahead and get started. So, the light's a little funky, but I needed to figure out how to light everything. It's just going to be a glare here, and I apologize for that. So this is the base setup for the, and I need to put these somewhere where I can remember where they are. This is the base setup for the Megaspark City windmill, and the lighthouse goes here like that. And I can move the camera up here in a little bit, but I'm not working on that section yet. So this is how it's going to look. It's got water around the edges. So if I push this a little bit, you'll see there's water around the edges. And then I'm having it sit at an angle, so it's a little more visually pleasing. Otherwise, it's just another square building, and I'm trying to be a little different with it. But that presents some challenges. There's no real good way to attach these at an angle like this. These are just 16 by 16 plates, sit like that. So they're just being held in place. They're not actually attached. They're just being held here. And I'll put rocks around this so it looks like it's part of the landscape. Tonight, what I'm going to work on is not anything to do with the building, but I'm working on the edge over here. What I'm trying to do is take all of this off and have it be a rock edge along here. These are base kits that we got from project support. You could get a corner, you could get an edge, or you could get a middle, and you can use those to create like the base, what you're going to build your house or your building on, right? So, and it comes with all this rock work, all the cobblestone type stuff. So I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of this, and then pulling a lot of this up, and then starting to put rock faces around it. So I'm going to move this just kind of generally out of the way, because I don't need to do anything with this. I also don't need these tiles for anything. I don't know why they're here. So in order to get the table to do this, I made a big change in the Lego room. This space right here used to be two really big, large Sterilite 3 drawers, wide, large drawer systems, and they were kind of sitting out in the middle of nowhere because I didn't have anywhere to put them. Now I've moved them over to the other side over here against the wall, against this wall. So it makes more sense. All the pieces are now stored against this wall. This has been freed up so I can walk around it for building. So I have access to wherever I need to go to build it. So it's going to be great. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want to try to leave this in place, but I may have to move it so I can get under here, unless there is a way to pull this up without getting to it. So first thing I'm going to do is take a lot of these pieces off. This is going to be kind of boring work for a little bit, but I want to be able to get all this kind of done so I can go back and get all the rock work in it. So that's what we'll start doing. I have a bag here of cobblestone-y stuff, right? Just tiles and ingots and 1x1s. So in the screen below over here, I got my phone. I'm watching the US hockey game, US versus Canada hockey game. And it's 1-1 and it's very exciting. I don't know if you heard, but the last US-Canada game was, I think I'm gonna go all the way back. I'm gonna take this pole off. And I think I'm gonna go all the way back. And I'll put some more poles over here. I don't wanna do, I think I wanna put maybe a boat dock over here, along here maybe. So like it's part of this path and have a little boat dock or something, but from here over I want to make it rocky and inhospitable. That's why there's a lighthouse. So I'm going to take this back to, you can't really see it, but this corner right here, I'm going to take it all the way back there. So here's the beverage tonight. We got an Austin Amber. I also have some Founders beers. Hello, Luffy. How are you? But Founders are super alcoholic, and I have a big weekend of probably drinking and partying and going to soccer games and stuff. So I don't want to start the night tonight by getting a little tanked and then having to go to work tomorrow. So. But yeah, so how are you doing, Luffy? How's things? And you may see over in the corner there's a little dog sniffing around. This is an angle that generally the camera doesn't get. She's over there smelling everybody's shoes. I'm doing great. I've got, I should check the USA versus Colombia score while I'm at it. Somebody do that for me so I don't have to change my phone. U.S. women's national team is playing Colombia. And, oh, it's halftime. U.S. is up 1-0 on Colombia. So I've got the hockey game on my phone, and I'm doing some Lego streaming. Life is good. Life couldn't be any worse. I'm gonna slide this over because I'm not used to looking. That's better. I'm not quite used to looking this far over. So I'm trying to get all these pieces off here so I can start doing, and I might, because I'm having to lean a little bit. I got plenty of room here to work. I'm going to move this back a little bit. Beverages over here so they don't get spilled. So this needs to slide a little without bumping into all this stuff. That's a little better. Yeah, I'm on a very large, this table is about 3.5 feet tall. So it's a good table to stand and work at. When I'm just building on my own, this is usually where I build. It keeps me from being here too long. So I'll work here for about anywhere between half hour, 15 minutes to a half hour, and then I'll go do something else. I'll go do some chores or something and come back. But it keeps me from moving too much. It keeps me from being in one place too long, and it fits my my ADD a little bit, my undiagnosed adult ADD. Actually, I'll probably leave this. I think this is about as far as I want to go, and then I'll curl this up to be this path here. So this back on. That'll work. Okay. So now, trying to leave as much of this alone as I can. But I will have to take some of this off. And these sections are like this big. This would be one of the sections. So they're just a plate, and they've got, you know, water on one side and usually some sort of stuff on the side here. And I have Technic pins to hold them in place so they don't have to be stuck. And it's all pins like this. This is a good technique if you're putting together mills plating of any kind, is using these axle pins. That way, when you put stuff together, they can go into each other and not shift. But then if it's a large plate, they just come apart, right? So if you put them on corners and stuff, they won't move. But also you're not ripping the Technic pins apart when you do it, when you take them apart. All right. So I'm going to try to pry this up underneath here. Again, I'm trying to cut this, move this back out a little bit. I'm trying to cut this kind of close and go to this corner right here. And then this all the way around will be a rack face. The trick I have is this part right here has to meet up with another section of somebody else is doing this, because this is going to be a big project. So everybody's doing one of these, right? And some of them are bigger, some of them are 4 plates, some of them are 12 plates. So this is going to line up with another person's build, and they're doing like a Moulin Rouge type thing. So they've got a tower that's got a spinning thing on top. So it's going to be a lot of motion right in here. So that'll be kind of fun. So I'll need to replace this. And there's not a whole lot under here. I'll need to replace this with something like this. That should work. And I think I want to, yeah, that should work fine. Okay, now I can rip all this up. Plus I get these plates back. And these are great plates. These are great plates to make small MOCs for quick builds. It's good to have a lot of them. I'm gonna probably regain another 2 of those and then fill this with these smaller 8x16s. So this area right here is going to be a house, and like I've got some bay windows ready to get put in. This house is going to cover that motor and the battery pack or the hub with the battery pack is in that section of house over there with the yellow door. And then there's more gears that go along the bottom. So there's this big drive train that goes along the bottom, goes into the bottom of the lighthouse, and the lighthouse goes all the way up. And this also turns the windmill right here. I'm not married to this at all. This is just proof of concept. I'll probably redo the top of that. There is a notebook that you can get. That's it's a like a HarperCollins notebook or something. It's just called Lego Journal, and I think it's blue, Lego Journal blue or Lego Journal gray, and it comes with a strip that's like a 6x32 piece that is held in place by a piece of elastic, and the elastic has got these bar holes on it, so the width of a regular bar, right? Something that wide. And so what I was thinking of using it for is putting them on here and have it be these fabric pieces up here instead of these random wedges. So, but each one, they're hard to find. Each one is $6 and I'd need 4 of them. Haley Bricks, hello. How are you? Invasion? Somebody invading? So I'd need 4 of those. So it's like, do I spend the $25 for something to maybe work? Like, I haven't tested it. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. What's up, Haley? How's things? This is going to come like that. Another one of those. Here. Hey, Missy, what's up, Zissou? Everybody's coming. Somebody else's stream must have just ended. What time is it? Oh. All right, so next is I'm going to take all of this off. This. Oh, that's actually... I'm going to leave that because that's attached. I'm going to take all this off. And this becomes extra. And now I'm going to fill this because this is going to go away as well. And this is going to go away as well. So let's go ahead and take all this off. And these aren't really on here. I'm just going to remove these. How's everyone doing tonight? And now I've reclaimed. You did it? You gave yourself your shot in your thigh? Mazel tov. Oh no? I was here, but I didn't cast to the TV correctly, and it took now to work right. That's fun. Okay. I need something to hold it in place here. So this is the angle of these bricks is for. Hold that in place. Where's the other one? Go like right here. Probably. Okay. So then I'll need a 8x16. Well, I don't even really want an 8x8. I just want a like a 2x8. It looks like it does. That's all. Thank you for that, but I feel like it just looks like it does. I want might be able to be closer. Is that lined up properly? All right, that's better. Don't even need this all the way out here like that. Like that piece. This goes here. Only need to fill that up to there. So that is one of these. And I like being able to reuse the pieces that we were given just for other purposes. So I don't have to go digging through my stuff. All this goes away. So the reason I'm tearing all this up is because this is going to be rock all the way around. It's not going to be shoreline. It's not going to be part of the city. It's going to be like an outcropping of rock for where the lighthouse goes. So like the, I don't know if you can see, this is the bottom of the lighthouse. So what I want to do is have it so the stone kind of goes up the side of the lighthouse a little bit, like it was built into the rock. Probably making more work for myself. Again, I've got to make sure that this is all, and the thing is, it's got to sit within whatever rock base I built. So this will all be like a cup of rock that then sits inside. So they can be taken apart and be moved, travel, so to speak. This just holds it in place, these angled bricks. So they don't move a whole lot. I'll probably put more along here somewhere and incorporate them into like parts of the house or whatever. And we're back on one-on-one USA versus Canada, second period. Do I plan to do a Star Wars MOC, maybe a small scale MOC for this or for something else? Because this is for the convention, Brick Rodeo in July. So my plan for Brick Rodeo is to do this and then bring all my microfighters, so all my Star Wars microfighters. And I do plan on building a few new ones by then. So between now and then, I'll probably go through, I think I only have like 4 or 5 new ones. So I might try to crank a couple more out so I can have some new ones to display. Because I've got, I think, 60 some built, but I don't have to bring all those, just whatever ones. I bring the whole lot and then just whatever ones fit on the table at the time. So, all right, now what I want to do is give this a little angle. So we're going to fill this area like that. Okay, this all needs to be picked up. So I need to transfer all that to where's this split button here? So this all needs to be moved. Can we just be done like this, that. Oh, may need something in there. That's fine. That'll stick out a little bit, but I'll cover that with rocks or something. So this should fit back in here. And this should fit. Yeah, so it is worth the time if you've got all the pieces. Rock work is very, very parts intensive. So I've got a whole bag of these. I just went through and got some of these out of like a lug bulk. So this is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then I'm going to go through, and I've got some of the wider ones, and I'll do a mix of light and dark gray. What I'll probably do is do dark near the water, and as I go up, model it a little bit so it gets a little lighter, so that when I start the work on the lighthouse itself, the light and dark stones all the way up kind of blend in a little bit. It's not going to look like the brick on the house. The brick on the house will stop here. That's the house part. And then the lighthouse will be a different brick. So, but yeah, I've got a lot of this. Hopefully this carries around and goes up to about here. So another level up. And at some point I'm gonna have to go get a bunch of like 1x2 slopes as well. But I don't need this. And all of this can go away. I'm trying to figure out where I can put all this because I don't need it anymore. But I also don't, well, why don't I sit there and just try to resort it. So that's the beauty of doing project support sometimes, is when the convention's done, all these parts belong to you. If your lug does it right. Well, if your lug does it a certain way, I won't say right. Dark tan. It really depends on some lugs and what project you do. If you do a very big permanent project, you have to get your lug to get the buy-in from them to say, we're going to spend, please chip in between $50 and $200, and we're going to have a big permanent display in a museum or in a store or in a something. That's really hard to do for some people. So it's better if you offer them the brick in return. After this convention, it all belongs to you again, right? That's a lot easier for people to swallow. Where did I have giant bags of 2x6 bricks, and I forgot where I put them. I've done a lot of reorganizing, and sometimes you forget where you put stuff, so that happens. So there, get those ready. Plates out of the way. I maybe might buy some botanical sets and some of the upcoming Bly clones battle packs. To do a small scale. Oh, a Felucia MOC. Nice. That's a great idea. One of my favorite. That's a pretty cool bit of build. Got radiator pieces there. One of my favorite builds that I did, and it was just sort of a throwaway for the for a microfighter. I did the Scythipede tank, the Umbaran tank that looks like a caterpillar, but I wanted to put it on Umbara, so I got like a dark black or dark gray plate and put a bunch of black plants with like red and purple kind of glowing stuff around it. It was a lot of fun. It didn't look like anything on the planet. It didn't look like anything on the show, but it was fun to make. So as long as you have fun doing it, that's all that matters. And we've got handfuls of people who aren't even going to be able to make the convention from our lug. But they're like, I still want to build and I still want to be part of it. Can someone please take this to the convention? Because I'm not going to be able to get all the way out to Houston. Uh-oh, more fights. Fight, fight, fight. I've been trying to do a little bit better with sorting as I go, so I'm not out here stuck with just a bunch of extra stuff. But sometimes I run into things like this piece. I don't have a drawer for these pieces. If I were smart, I would make a drawer right above all the pieces that are like rails, like the plates with the railing on them, and put these near that, because that's what these are for. But I don't have anything for these. So I've got a Tupperware dish that is full of things that I don't have parts for or drawers for. Keep these out because these are pearl gold and might be of use in another location. Try to keep all my pearl gold and gears and pipes and stuff out. Okay. So let's see what's next. All right, this is about as clean as I want to get it for right now. Before I fill it up with water, I think I want to go through and put brick in here. Rock. So we'll start filling this up with rock along the sides here. I'll pull out an entire drawer full of slopes, and what we'll do, I would open open Tupperware, and I'll just start going in and getting some gray stuff and pulling it aside. What's up, Cliff? Yeah, so that Felucia idea is a great idea. I think you should do that, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. What's up, Cliff? How you doing? How's life? The funny thing is, I just had a bag of about 100 of these, and I just dumped them into here. Because I'm like, when am I ever going to need a bag of these by themselves? Turns out right now. And I'm going to try to, I'm not going to care a whole lot about if these are light gray or dark, old dark gray, new dark blue gray or not. I'm just going to try to get some things started. And I'm also going to try to maybe pockmark this area. Can't really see. Pockmark this area along here with like other rocks. So cheese wedges, we'll just throw the occasional one of these out here like this in the middle of the water. So it looks like, you know, it's a natural kind of, it's becoming rock. It's not just suddenly there, but that'll just take prying up some of these tiles, which is always fun. So what are you up to, Cliff? Ah, 2-1 US. It just scored. So I have to say, I'm unsure of who to root for in the US versus Canada hockey game, Four Nations hockey game. You're getting ready for your big move? Yeah, I see you posting about that. That does not sound fun, my friend. So it's the Four Nations hockey tournament. Canada, US, Finland, Sweden. The US, I think, has won all their games. Or no, they've won 3 of their 4 games. I think Sweden beat them. And then Canada's won 2 and lost 1 in overtime or something like that. The points are a little funky. But what it means is the US and Canada play each other in the final. So that's what's happening right now. The problem I have is normally I'd be like, hey man, Team USA all the way, right? I'm also aware that hockey is a Canadian sport and I'm okay rooting for Canada as well. The biggest problem is that my hockey team, my hometown hockey team, the Colorado Avalanche, have 3 players on Canada's side. So I'm rooting for the US and I'm rooting for the team members, those 3 guys on Canada. Honestly, I'm just rooting for them not to get hurt because this is like the all-star break pretty much. And I don't want anybody to get hurt going into, you know, heading into the playoffs. So, but one of the Avalanche already scored really early in the game, Nate McKinnon. I'm having a hard time telling if that's blue or sand, gray or sand blue, even with the good lighting. So this should be enough to get me started, I think. I'll dig into this a little more later. I keep finding old ones. I know I said I wasn't going to care, but every once in a while too, you run into this where you're like, I want to sort these differently, right? Not just with the regular schlub slopes, but I want to put those. But these, like, if these are the only 2 that you've got, what do you do with them? All right, this is probably good for you. So, I probably am also going to, let's pry up this guy and put a rock here to get it going. I'm gonna get that guy off there. Oh, get in there. Yeah, be glad when it's done, I bet. Oh, you mean the game? Yeah, just glad when it's over. All right, so we'll go here. And then we'll go like this. And then we'll put some water in there. Do this. The problem I'm going to run into is there's going to be a lot of... I might want to back this out a little more. So I'm not a huge fan of fighting in hockey either. I think it takes away from the fact that it's an incredibly beautiful game to watch. It's full of a lot of skilled players that are going very fast, and they're stopping on dimes, and they're thinking very quickly. Their reaction time is just lightning quick, and all that. And it kind of upsets me when they stop to just punch each other. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's part of the sport, but every once in a while, and sometimes I'm like, there's a time and place for, like, you have a star player who's a top goal scorer, and somebody who's, you know, a nobody goes and takes a cheap shot at them on the boards, right? Well, then you send out one of your guys and you beat the crap out of them. Don't touch our top scorer like that, or this is what's going to happen to you, right? Checking and hitting along the boards is always been part of the sport. So it's kind of like, you know, the unwritten rules, but I get it. A lot of people don't like it because of that. Home, yay! The last game between the US and Canada in this tournament was in Canada. And during the national anthems, they do the US first and then Canada because they're the home country. Today they did Canada first and then the US. And you guys have probably heard about this, they've been booing the national anthem, the US national anthem. And I'm like, yeah, good, do it. That's good. But what the US guys did after the game started, as soon as the face-off happens, there was, like, instantly 3 fights in 9 seconds. They just went to town. So it was kind of funny. Okay. Do I want to fill all of that up with... Yeah, sure, why not? So there's a level here of black that's underneath the water, and I think because some of the water might get under there... Oh, and they're fighting again. I'm going to fill up behind here with black plates. So let's go in here. But again, I'm not a huge fan of all the fighting. But I understand. Don't need to go any further back than that. Oh, wait. Nope, that's fine. I don't want to overlap a place where I'm like the seam, because otherwise I'm closing off being able to move it. And I like being able to be over here because like all the parts are just right here. It's all within reach. It's nice to be able to do that. So then we'll go bring over our tray of our drawer of water tiles and hope we have enough to fill this area out, because I have a bad feeling that I'm gonna have to order some parts. I don't think I'm gonna have enough water to fill up all this, but we'll see. So tonight, there was all this like, what's going to happen after the national anthems when they hit that first face-off, right? Because the last time the game was emotionally charged. This was, I mean, it was all political stuff. It was, you know, because our president is terrible and he's doing crazy like tariff stuff on. He's just like wanting to buy countries, and everyone's like, what? So Canada's like, no, we're not having that. And so it kind of bled into the stage, right? And that is going to go there. It's going to be built up. This is where I got to start getting 1x1 bricks as well to build these up. So I think it was a lot of emotion that showed up, and it was kind of like after the booing of the U.S. national anthem, the Canadians booing the U.S. was just like, screw you guys, this is what's going to happen now, right? So that's what the fights were. We're like, get it all out. Let's get it all out now, and then let's play the game. So tonight they had the anthems, and the anthems were terrible. They were not good. The first one was the US or the Canadian national anthem. And I'm pretty sure the lady who sang it, what's up, Never Too Old, how are you? I'm pretty sure the lady who sang it had never heard the word Canada before. Like, I don't know what she was doing. It was crazy. So nobody booed because it was like the tune was off. I think she messed up some words. She tried doing it in French, but it wasn't quite working. Sorry, it disappeared in the middle of the sentence. I had a good idea and I wanted to try it out. Disappeared in the, all right, didn't do too well. And so people didn't want to boo the person singing, right? They're like, well, we can't, you know, it's not that they're doing bad. It's just they're not doing great. And we can't boo because that'll look like we're booing her. So, oh, that'll be good. Okay. So that happened. So there was a smattering of boos, and then there was like Gretzky came out with like, you know, representing the honorary team captain of Canada, Wayne Gretzky. And there's a smattering of boos, and you're like, who's booing Gretzky? Like, that's like booing Jordan, you know. So then the U.S. person came out and said, and they were backed by Boston Pops because they're playing in Boston. And so everyone's like, well, that's great. That's a good idea. Let's do that. And It was also not great. Like, oddly not very good. And it was kind of like, what are they doing? So I'm like, I think they're purposefully, I want to do that in the corner. That looks weird. They're purposefully making it so nobody could boo, because then it'd look like they're booing the person singing. So they kind of neutered it at the beginning, and everyone went, oh, okay, maybe we won't. I'm not going to do a corner on this. I'm just going to take it straight back. So we'll do a couple 2-tree bricks. Oh, I need 3s. No, not that tall. Or maybe that tall. There we go. So very, very funny, I thought. Okay, good. Then we'll do this. And then we'll do this. And that. And this. Okay. Coming along. Put a couple of these guys in here. It'll look great. I have to fill this in before I get too far. So this is gonna be excruciatingly long to get all these in here. So the other thing I want to do is put windows in here, and I want to try to do these windows, right? And I want to try to do these as the tops, but they don't cover it very well. What they do cover is these, kind of. Then I also have these arches to go in here. So I'm not sure if I want to do these windows in here or in the light tower as it goes up. The problem with the light tower, or the lighthouse, is there are panels. They're gonna be very tall panels. And I'm just gonna put rocks all the way up. And it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 8 panels around. And then covered in tiles to make a rock face. Tiles and ingots and 1 by 1 round dots. So there's no real way for me to put these windows in there, although it would look pretty cool. I'm not sure what to do with that yet. I took it all down. I'm not convinced that's the way I want to do it. I only have March, April, May, June. I only have 4 months to get this done. And I think I got like the motorized part working, which is my biggest concern, but I want to make sure that I get everything else done and it doesn't look garbagey. Yeah, no reason to boo Gretzky. That can be... Ooh. Booing Gretzky is like booing yourself. Do you hate yourself that much? That doesn't fit. So that'll just have to go over the top somehow. This. Figure that out. This can go back here. I realize I'm talking to myself just to hear myself talk. Second and third sections. The first is like 90% done. Your mom's looked really good. She should be proud of that. That was really nice. Let me get that back there without losing it. Okay. She is proud of it. So I watched on Disney Plus the latest it's so hard to get in there. Spider-Man cartoon. Really good. Really good. If you can swing getting Disney Plus, or if you haven't seen it yet and you have Disney Plus, do yourself a favor. It's really good. The animation's great. It's kind of a throwback bit of animation. It looks like the old Ditko, Stan Lee kind of stuff. Very 60s. But the story nods and the beats and the parallels of some of the characters, really awesome. What's up, Scott? I am taking a crack at... Did I decide I can't put this back there? Yes. So that's gonna be interesting to fill that in somehow. Taking a crack at doing some rock work here. Oh, it's all tied up. I didn't see that that Canada had scored. Man, this is gonna be tight. This is gonna be good. Not you. Ugh, not me. So let's see if I've got a handful of tiles. Here's my collection of just 1x2 plates, 1x2 tiles, 1x4 tiles. This may get me done. I don't mind occasionally putting plates along here. Then you can add these as rocks, or you can add little white bumps and slopes as like water kind of cresting around and stuff. So I'm okay. We're good. Okay. Oh yeah. So I was gonna put one in here just to kind of start filling this around. This may be one that I want to put something there, so I'll put a plate in there. This will also be the problem with this is I don't have a lot of 1x1 guys because I use these. I've used most of them for thrusters or microfighters. So I may end up having more tiles, 1x1 tiles, than I do plates. And again, I have this mentality of holding on to things. Like I don't want to use that piece. I may need that piece for later. But then it's like but later for what? This is the later that you've been waiting for to use that. But it's the mentality of I can't use it here. I may need it somewhere else. It's a very hoardy mentality kind of thing. Line this a little bit. So I don't know if you can tell, but the blue has changed. Lego blue has changed. These are both trans light blue, but you can, I don't know if you can see it from up there, but the parts that we got just recently from Lego are a different blue. These 1x4 parts specifically, because we also got a bunch of 1x2 parts. And they are also of the different color variety. Isn't that wild? It's not like light blue, it's just light blue. I don't know why, but it is. So now I feel like I have to go in here and swap out some just so it looks a little more uniform, because otherwise it looks really weird. Not gonna lie, it looks really weird. Maybe in not direct light like this, but we'll have to see what it looks like in the long run. And I don't have any more of these. Like I used the ones that came with the kit. I used all of them. But you can see it in some of the sections where we got the 1x4 pieces and then 1x2 pieces, and the 1x2 pieces are obviously really a lot darker, and not like a little bit. Like these look like different colors. It's almost look like there's a green in it. So I think it's just a matter of maybe they switched, maybe the because they over the years they switched the plastic that they were using for trans colored pieces from PRB or PSB or whatever it is to ABS. I think they're using ABS now. And I think this new stuff is the new brick, is the new plastic. And the stuff that I have is the old color, and it was manufactured differently. Also could be manufactured in a different country. Could be a different plant. So what I may end up doing is exactly, Missy. I may end up, like, before I get this all done, going through and kind of moving some around so it doesn't look as bad, but it's fairly pronounced. So anyway, it's not going to ruin anything. It's just kind of the way it is. All right. So let's do that. So I don't know if you've seen everybody else except Johnny, because I know Johnny has already seen it. The Fabuland thing. Unless you're on my Discord, in which case you also saw it. Thoughts? The set of ass. I need a bunch more acro mill drawers to hold the millions of parts. Yeah, same. Well, let's see if I can turn the camera here. So this is what the room looks like before, right? So that's parts over there. And then this is new. I moved all of that over here today. That was basically sitting on that side of the table right here. So I've got a lot of bins. My problem is that, and the camera is now stuck. Okay. I'm starting to get some bins that are just too full. So I've got to start getting slightly larger bins and then dump these in there and then you know, fill this with something else. But then it's like, I can't just get one drawer. I have to get 3. So I'm trying to time it so I can get 3 of these that are full about the same size, dump it into the new ones, that kind of stuff. End of second period, tied 2-2. Oh, goodness. The cool thing is one of these drawers was a friend of mine worked at a medical office and gave me some drawers, but they were all labeled already. So they say things like alcohol wipes or number 10 blades or slides or gauze or something. I have one called Hemocult cards, which I think is pretty rad. I'm going to put a bunch of these into... That'll help. Fill this up a little bit. So realize that a lot of this stuff that's behind things doesn't need to be the same color. Now, I'm not real good at rock work, so some of this might need to be redone. But we do what we can, right? So afraid I'm gonna lose something back there. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's, you know, it feels a little amateurish, but I think as long as I blend it along the edge here with more slopes and cheese wedges and whatnot, it should be okay. So who's got some good plans this week? What do you got going on? Look at how they do rocks in the Viking Village instructions for Hogwarts Castle. Some ideas. I love the rock work for that. I may do that because I don't want this to look super bad, but I also feel like it's just a matter of getting a bunch of different slopes along here. My concern is at some point I may run out of slopes. Yeah, I think as long as I dot stuff along here, it'll be fine. It'll look okay. Jake the Ninja, hello. Yes, we have season tickets. We got our season tickets. I don't know how long ago. They're not mine. They're friends of mine, and I just go with them. And if any time they don't want to go, they give them to me, and I can just go whenever I want. But yes, and we're ready to go. We were out in the rain on Tuesday. We were out in the cold on Tuesday, and Beth hates that I did this. Oh, I almost locked myself into that. She doesn't. It's not that she doesn't appreciate it. She just doesn't like it. But this also has to start getting a little bigger anyway, so I don't mind doing that. We did the TIFO rehearsal on Tuesday, and it was 12, felt like 12 degrees or whatever. Probably only really about 25, 30 degrees. So it was cold. It was very cold. And at one point we had the TIFO up because the basically it goes, there's stages to making the TIFO, and it's about a 6-week process. It goes from conscripting somebody or finding somebody to volunteer to make the art for it. And then once it's okay, you shop it around with the committee and make sure it looks okay. And it's, it ticks all the boxes and everybody's happy with it and that kind of stuff. And then the sewing starts. They will get all the tarp that they need to, and you have to sew all these big sheets because they only come in X wide number of sheets, and you need it to be, it needs to be 30, 40 feet wide. So you need to sew these sheets together. Once they're all sewed together, you need to go through and chalk line them, make a grid, and then sketch out the art based off the grid on the artwork itself. And then people come in and do some outlines and paint and stuff. And then you get the big groups of volunteers to come in and paint the big swaths. It's paint by number at that point, right? And then once that's all done and dried, then people come in and cut it. So they have to cut it and put grommets all the way around it. And that doesn't take quite as long. That's like a 1 or 2 night thing. So then they take it to we'll take it to the stadium, at which point we have access to, hopefully, the loading dock where we're able to stretch it out, and there's a big net. Cold as balls here. But it starts thundering. Do they stop? If it lightnings, they stop. If it starts doing lightning, they'll stop it. Usually. And I can't take a picture of the TIFO until it goes up. It's a secret until they raise it at the game. It's kind of always how it's been. They don't want to ruin the surprise of it ahead of time. So you have to, there's like agreements that you have to sign and like NDA kind of stuff that says I promise not to disclose, or you're not even allowed to take pictures while you are, I hate this song. You're not even allowed to take pictures of it while you're working on it. You can't take pictures and post to social media saying, hey, look what I'm working on. All right, so now I need to start filling this out a little bit more. Whole reason I'm keeping this level as much as possible is so that so I can do math up here and it's not like it's distributed by 3 or 4 plates. Like I want it to be as same as I can get it. You have a pick. They're doing a TIFO. Yes. No, they'll be about 5 or 6 TIFOs in a year. 5, maybe 4 or 5, because they take about 6 weeks to 2 months to do. Once it's all painted, and then they fold it up once it's dried. And once it's folded and dried, it can weigh 50, 60 pounds, right? So it's pretty heavy wad of tarp, basically. We take it to the stadium. There's a giant net that's, I don't know how wide. It's got to be like 100 feet by 70 feet or something. It's pretty massive. So we get that out from storage, and that stays with the stadium. We had to buy it, but we meaning the supporter group had to buy it, but it lives at the stadium, I think. We stretch it out, make sure there's no holes in it. Roll it up nice with the little hooks on it, take it into the stadium, hook it up to the ropes. And we have people go up in the stands and pull on the ropes, and it raises the net, relaxes the net, eases it down, stretches it out. They can check for holes in it and stuff like that. Lower it back down, take it back out to the loading dock, stretch it out again, tape it to the ground so it's all tensioned and all the lines are straight on the net. Lay the TIFO on top of it and zip tie it all together. Take it back into the stadium, raise it up, make sure it looks good, doesn't need any corrections. We're there for about 4 hours. And last night we were there while it got to be about 20 degrees. So we're ready to go. And we're very hopeful that it is received well. But yeah. If you're in the supporter section, you won't see it from the front. You'll see it from the back, and usually the lights are enough so you can kind of see through it to see what it is. If you want to see it, go around to the sides, we'll pull it up at the national anthem. It's usually in the land of the free and the home of the, we'll start pulling it up. And then we hold it there for the rest. We play one song, La Murga plays one song, and then we start lowering it again. So during the national anthem, if you go around to one of the side areas to look at it, you can see it. Otherwise, you can kind of look through it. But the supporter section this year also has, we're going to have cards. We're going to have things for the fans to hold up. So if you're in the stands, you'll hold up a color and it'll add to the effect of the TIFO. So it might behoove you to see that. Yeah, you can look back at the scoreboard and kind of see it. They'll probably have it up there. Half the time there are so many flags waving that I'll turn around and just watch the scoreboard if it's like a corner kick on the other side. So all right, let's see if I can fill in some of this water. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing a light show or not. I haven't heard either way. Oh, man. I'm going to do... Suddenly the water is going to go a different direction. So there's usually like a hype video. And then there's like the anthems, and then the players, well, the players will come out, they'll have the player introduction, and the anthems or a hype video. So there's a lot that goes on ahead before it starts. Ever watched Macalla and Cam from La Murga de Austin? I don't think so. We sit like maybe 5-6 rows up from La Murga. So we're in that section. We're not too far behind him. In fact, my oldest child will occasionally have friends in La Murga, and they'll go down and just hang out with them while the game's going. They've sort of adopted my oldest. See, I like having some of it extend out a little bit, but I feel like it ruins the rock face a little. Maybe if I just stick some cheese wedges on it, it'll give it a better... I'll go back and put some 1x1 plates or something in there, because I want to vary the length as well as the height, but I don't want to use all my parts. But it'll be good to be back. We missed it. It's been a long off season since we didn't make playoffs, so I can't wait to get back to it. All right. Now I need to start ramping this up a little bit. So we'll do a couple 2-tree of these back there. Oh, you know what? How early should I get to the stadium? Well, you can only... the gates are at 6. So you won't be able to get... Or 6:30. So you won't be able to get in before that anyway. But it doesn't... I mean, it doesn't fill up, like, super quick. If you just want to get there at, like, 6:30 and run to the supporter section and get a good low seat... The problem is then you got to stay there. It's general admission, so the seats, if you leave, somebody could come in and take your seat if you're just one person. So we usually go in a group, and there's minimum 3 of us. And we have friends in front of us. We usually have friends over here. We've got some people who are occasionally friends of ours behind us. And we can usually say, hey, watch our seats. We also bring scarves, and we tie off the pole right in front of where we're standing. So people that's kind of the unwritten rule of somebody sitting here, don't sit here. So it really depends what you want to do. Yeah, that's going to look good with it kind of coming over the edge like that. That's going to be great. So if you go to, there's probably going to be a march if it's not raining from Hop Squad. You go to Hop Squad, which is the bar down the street. And starting at about 5:30, they'll march down Breaker and into the stadium. And they usually will start at Hop Squad, march down Breaker, go to the stadium, stop in front of the stadium and play some music. When they stop in front of the stadium, that's usually when we take off. And they'll get there before opening gates, so there's usually a group of people waiting outside the gates. And what we like to do, I'm ruining a little bit of a trade secret, but we like to go to the SciPlay bar, and because you can get in through the side. There's the gates. You go in over here, you go up, have a beer, and then when it's time to go in, the line to get out of the bar and into the stadium is just a handful of people, and then you can just go down the stairs and you're in the stadium. But not everybody goes there to get beer. So yeah, if you're there by 6:30, there's plenty of seats. I wouldn't worry about it. Cool. All right, I said I was going to start filling this in with water, so let's do some of that. Oh, I'm going to have to go back and watch all the highlights because I am not watching this game right now. Do I like the new kit? It's good. It's fine. I like it better than I liked the Voices kit, the barcode. I don't like it more than the Dillo kit. I still want to get a Dillo kit. I still like this one the best. Officially. The very first one that I got, the striped one, is fine. But I can't wear mine anymore because the stripes are appliques. They're not printed, and they're starting to pull up. The letters are starting to pull up. The shoulder stripes are starting to pull up. So that jersey's been retired. It'll hang in the closet. I'll pin it on a wall or something like that. So when the Dillo kit goes on sale, I'll get that. It's on sale-ish now. It's like $60, but as it gets toward the summer, I think it'll drop another 20, so I'll be able to get it for $40. Yeah, seriously, if you get there at 6:30, there's barely anybody there. Some of the sections are roped off. You can't get to them because La Murga's there. But if you wanted to get on one of these side sections, like there's the center section where La Murga is, and then there's the 104 and the 101 usually. And we're in 102. You got plenty of time. Also, keep in mind, once you get there, you have to stay there, right? You got to hold your seat. So if you're not going with a group of people, it's going to be kind of crazy. But I wish you luck. I think you'll have fun. I hope you have fun. Oh no, I didn't fill that in. Okay, I've said like 3 times I'm going to do the water, and I haven't done the water yet. So I'm a big old nerd. Doesn't understand. Do the water. Do the water. Yeah, I mean, if you post it, I'll watch it. Okay, water. It is a very nice stadium. It's nice to walk around. It's nice to be part of. Pop this guy off. Let's dig a few of these out of here. And use them instead. Watch it when I get there. I barely look at my phone once I'm there. I occasionally will pull it up and check Slack if there's a like if there's a player that got hurt or something, or a play that we kind of missed. I'll pull up Slack and see if anybody's watching it. And oh, looks like I did have some extra because they got all put in here. They got all mixed up. So I must have had a bunch of extra. So I probably won't be watching a whole lot on my phone. But we'll see. I would like to know ahead of time because I usually ride with my friends, so I don't have to drive, but sometimes they don't want to leave until right before the game starts, so we don't end up going to Hop Squad. We don't march. And especially with it being cold and they're not big fans of the cold, we may not do that, but I'm like, it's opening day, man. We got to do that. Okay, don't close the gap. The last thing I need is to do all this rock work and have it closed over the gap so I can't take the plates apart. Oh, when do we get there? It really depends. Like, we may get to Hop Squad at like 4:30, and then just hang out until it's time to go over there. I walk over, and then after that, I'm kind of on hooligan time. Like, I don't care. So it's hard to gauge. Sometimes we've rolled up, like if it's a Wednesday game, we've rolled up and parked at like 6:30, almost 7 sometimes. Because it's sometimes a game that nobody really wants to go to, or it's a funky time and nobody really wants to do that. So yeah, there's a lot of these discolored ones. I'm not real happy about that. Let's break this up a little bit and get some plates in here so I can throw some rocks and stuff in there. Look at this plate. I had to throw this in a hole. I could cover this whole section with that. Just like that. This isn't even light blue. This is a different, it's like a light lavender or something. It's not even the same blue as these other pieces. I don't even know what color that is, but it's not any one of those. How crazy, right? I don't know what that is. There. This here. All right, so Lego talk. What's your guys' current thing that you're working on, Lego wise? I think I know, but we've got 4 people in the chat, so let's hear what you've got going on. I feel like Sean Evans. Tell camera 1, camera 2. Tell us what you got going on in your life. There. Not building enough, but grab the 20-in-1 dream space set. There's a 20-in-1 dream space set. Working on a few things for home and garden next Tuesday. That's going to be cool. We need to get more shows like that. Like, I need to really drum into our group that we need to keep looking for stuff to do. Like, I have whole weekends where I'm not doing anything, and I would love to just go hang out with fellow AFOLs and talk about Lego and encourage the public to come by. There was a there's a thing on the LAN, and it's not really a thing where it's not like news and it's not like a campaign or anything, but time to start Endor. Cool. Just got parts ordered for my Brick Rodeo mosaic. Yes, great. There seems to be a push from the LAN, and I'm not sure who's doing the pushing, that they're wanting to see more. Oh, that was the thing that wouldn't fit. That's right. Okay. They're wanting to see more things where. How I'm gonna do that? I guess just put a plate over it. I'll figure that out. They're wanting to see more things that people can show up and play with. They want to see more things that are interactive. Now, there's a fine line to me between being able to roll up with a MOC or a truck full of MOCs and set them up in an hour or two for the public to look at for a day or a weekend or a few hours. Be hands off, right? Look at the things we've built. Aren't these cool? This encourages you to go home and build. They want more people. They want more shows where the public shows up and can touch everything. They can play with the robots that are there. They can do workshops and build while they're there. They can be encouraged to participate in group builds like big mosaics and stuff. And the whole time I'm hearing all this, and this is like kind of third hand. We kind of hear about it from a couple people. We're not, they went to a convention and they did this, blah, 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 blah. The whole time I'm thinking that's what we do at conventions. The problem that I have with hearing this is that you can't do an entire convention like that. You can't show up and have nothing but things for people to play with. If you could do that, you would be Brickfest. Because all that is vendors and play pens for people to build stuff. Now, at our lug events, or at the big convention, we have workshops and we have games and we have free play brick areas. We've got things that people, there's games, not like reverse build or blind build or speed build, but there's also like people will bring board games that they've built out of Lego, or a Dungeons and Dragons type thing that they've built out of Lego. And their castle it's the Peterson brothers. There's a big castle that they've built, and it's this huge table-sized castle. But then after hours, you take the castle apart and play a game in it. We really haven't had Lego First League in there. We've tried, but they don't seem to really want to hang out with us for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. But that would be one thing if we could get them involved. But again, is that something you just want any ticket holder to come in and go, okay, here, play with my robot that I made? And they drive it into a wall, and that's the end of it. Like, it takes 2 seconds to ruin the whole thing for everybody. So, not like I don't think people should be able to come in and play with the Lego, but I feel like there's dedicated spots to play with Lego, and it's harder on a group to dedicate those spots. It takes manpower to monitor them, and it takes a lot more forethought into what the public might want to do. So I get a little upset when I hear that that's the big new lug push is, trying to get more public activity. It's like there's only so much we can do in a given time, in a given space. So I think they're just trying to figure out ways to get the public more involved. I think it may be coming from up high where we're not active with the kids enough anymore or something. So I'm okay with the water for now. I'm going to try to go around this corner here to where you can't see, obviously. What time is it? Oh, we got 15 minutes. Well, and we have that. We do that. Like, you have to, it's not for public consumption though. Like, if we just said, come to Brick Rodeo and come to our rock workshop, we're going to get 1 million people to show up. We're not going to have room. We don't know how much Lego to bring to facilitate the workshop. So we have to do it by ticket holders, right? Now, ticket holders, our bags, our swag bags that we hand out to all of our ticket holders, all the all access people get a bag, and in the bag, they get baggies of parts that go for every workshop. That's part of your ticket price. If there's a foliage workshop, you get all the parts for the foliage workshop. If there's a guest speaker that's doing like a motion workshop or a lighting workshop or a sticker workshop or something, you get bags of parts that go with that workshop, right? You get a convention MOC. Somebody makes a convention MOC. That's part of it. But you can't plan ahead for those things for 3,000 people, 400 people, yes. Or 1,500 people, however Brick World Chicago does it. But I don't think they give out as much stuff as we do, honestly. I think the more people they get, the smaller their swag bags have got. And if you want to do a workshop, sometimes you just have to, you know, we're gonna show you how to do it. Not really hands-on, but we're gonna show you how to do it. And it just floors me sometimes thinking that the hands-on approach is the way they want to go, but it's like, well, then help us get more brick to these events. We can't afford it. I'm being a pain in the butt. And I'm always the one on the land asking these questions. And I feel like I look like a malcontent, and I'm not really. I really appreciate everything that we get from Lego and all the opportunities we get to do workshops and get, you know, bags of parts for things. But I feel like the guidance we get sometimes is a little like, well, what do you want us to do? How about you tell us what you want and stop being so random. That's me and my soapbox for the day. But that's what they want. They want it for the public. They want all this stuff for the public. It's like the, and I feel really bad about saying this, but it's like the, when I did the submarine thing, and I feel bad because I never finished that. And I think at this point, it's probably too late. I'm going to email them and say, look, it totally fell off my radar. I've been doing so many other things and so many other projects, and I didn't really know what you guys wanted. And I know this was something, and I really wasn't sure, but you know, I can 100% still do this. Like if I really knuckled down and had a weekend, you'd have it next weekend. So just let me know if it's something you still want to do. But because I really didn't have a direction, they were like, we want to do something with Lego. And this is what we get as a lug from a lot of places, is them just saying, is people just wanting to do something with Lego. They don't know what, they can't tell you what, but it has to be fun. Can we just have fun with it? Let's just have some fun with it. And you say, all right, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, just let's get the community involved. Okay, well, what do you want to do with the community? You know? If you don't give us a direction, I'm going to make something up, and then you may not like what I make up. It's the very classic artist, client. I don't know what I want. Why don't you just figure out what I want? And then when you do it, they go, that's not what I want. Okay, well, why don't we work together a little bit on something, and you tell me what you want. You got to be able to use your words. So it turns out I'm probably going to have enough to go around the corner here. So I'm very happy about that. This isn't the best rock work. I'll show you guys here. And then I think I'm going to wrap it up because it's about 10 till and I don't want to keep going just yet. But so go ahead and take this off. And I don't know how far the cable will go, but so this is the rock work for today. Uh-oh. Totally lost the camera. So there's that. Sometimes technology is not my friend. We're just going to do this camera. And I'm going to switch. Okay, so this is what we got. This is the rock face. I got some gaps to fill in here, but I'm going to try to go over these areas. It's just the angle here doesn't let me put anything behind it. So I'm going to cover it with stuff coming over the top. And then over the side here. Got a bit of a glare, but I think that works. And I've got some pieces out here that I'll throw some stuff on to give it a little more, you know, kind of out in the middle of the water kind of stuff. So I think that'll work. I think that'll work out nice. And yeah, so there we go. So let's call it a night. I appreciate everybody coming by. Uh-oh, did they score? No, that's a replay. This is period 3. I should be back Sunday. Now, I'm not going to promise anything because Sunday will be the day after the opening Austin FC game. I may be completely exhausted. So I'm going to put something out on the calendar. I don't think it'll be this. I think we'll do a microfighter design. Or I'll email Thundercloud tomorrow and see if they want something, in which case I'll work on that on Sunday. But yeah, so I appreciate you all being here. Thanks for coming out. I hope to see you guys on socials. You can follow me on Blue Sky. I'm all over the place on Blue Sky. Or chat with me on the community tab here. And I think I've turned off every other thing for socials. So I might try doing a couple TikTok videos or something here and there. But you guys have a great weekend, a great rest of your night tonight, and I will talk to you later.